above Central America, the rainforest stretches endlessly, an emerald ocean of leaves. From the sky, it looks untouched, pure wilderness. But this jungle hides more than animals and rivers. Beneath the canopy lie the remains of a world that once mastered time, stars, and stone. For centuries, travelers passed through these forests unaware of what lay beneath their feet. They walked on ancient causeways buried under soil, camped near plazas swallowed by roots, and crossed hills that were not hills at all, but pyramids covered in vines. The jungle, both protector and destroyer, had erased the memory of an extraordinary civilization. The Maya. The Maya were not a single empire ruled from one throne. Instead, they were many kingdoms. City-states scattered across what is now Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. Each city had its own kings, armies, and temples. Some were allies, many were rivals. All were connected by trade, language, and a shared vision of the cosmos. A 1,000 years ago, to enter a Maya city was to step into a world alive with sound and color. At sunrise, the first rays lit up painted murals and stucco carvings. The smell of maize tortillas, cooking mixed with the smoke of incense. Markets bustled with traders selling cacao beans, obsidian knives, jade ornaments, and brilliant quetzal feathers. Children ran through courtyards, while ball players prepared for matches in stone courts where games were more than sport. They were sacred rituals. From the plazas, priests in elaborate headdresses climbed temple stairs to perform offerings to the gods. Drums echoed through the air. Flutes and conch shells carried the rhythm of ceremony. Kings received tribute beneath vast palace roofs, their rule justified by their connection to the heavens. Life here was not small or primitive. It was organized, complex, and deeply spiritual. And yet, centuries later, these cities fell silent. The plazas emptied, stairways cracked, walls crumbled under roots. Great roads vanished into the jungle. What caused such a collapse? How could a civilization that mastered astronomy, mathematics, and architecture suddenly abandon its heartlands? These questions have haunted explorers, scholars, and dreamers for centuries. But the Maya did not vanish entirely. Their descendants still live today, speaking their languages, carrying forward rituals, and preserving knowledge passed through generations. This is not just a story of ruins. It is a story of brilliance, mystery, and survival. A journey through cities of stone and sky, through numbers and stars, through myths and mysteries. It is the story of the Maya, a people who measured eternity and whose spirit still endures. Part 1. Cities of Stone and Sky. The Maya were master builders, architects of both stone and sky. Across jungles, mountains, and plains, they created cities that rivaled the great civilizations of Egypt, Greece, or Mesopotamia. But unlike many others, the Maya built their world not in deserts or river valleys, but in the dense, unforgiving rainforests of Central America. Take Chichén Itzá, perhaps the most famous of all. At its center stands the Pyramid of Kukulkan, known as El Castillo. It is a monument not just of stone, but of science. Each side has 91 steps, and with the top platform, the total equals 365, the number of days in a solar year. Twice a year during the equinox, light creates the illusion of a serpent slithering down the staircase, the shadow connecting heaven and earth. This was architecture, designed not only to inspire awe, but to align with the cosmos. Far to the south lies Tikal, the great city of Guatemala. Its temples rise above the jungle canopy like stone mountains, visible for miles. In its golden age, Tikal was home to more than 60,000 people. Imagine its grand plaza, two pyramids facing each other across a broad square, royal palaces surrounding the sides, carved stelae, standing like guardians of memory. From the top of Temple 4, one of the tallest pre-Columbian structures in the Americas, the view is breathtaking even today. Endless rainforests stretching to the horizon. But in ancient times, this view would have been alive with smoke, music, and life. In Palenque, artistry reached new heights. Though smaller in scale, it was rich in beauty and symbolism. Its palaces had graceful arches, elegant courtyards, and stucco reliefs that told the stories of kings and gods. The most famous discovery here is the tomb of King Pakal, hidden deep inside the Temple of the Inscriptions. His jade burial mask and richly decorated sarcophagus changed everything we knew about Maya rulers. Pakal was not only a political leader, but a divine figure. His death journey carved in symbols that linked him to the cosmos. To the east, at Copan in Honduras, the Maya inscribed their history in stone. Stelae stand like vertical books, covered in intricate glyphs and portraits of kings. The hieroglyphic stairway, with its 2,000 glyphs carved into 63 steps, is the longest Maya text ever discovered. It records dynasties, rituals, and astronomy, turning a stairway into both architecture and literature. Deep in the forests of Campeche, Mexico, lies Calakmul. Once a fierce rival of Tikal, for centuries these two cities battled for dominance, their alliances and betrayals shaping Maya politics. Calakmul's pyramids are among the largest in the Maya world. Rising above the jungle like forgotten giants. Today, few visitors make the journey here, but in ancient times, it was the beating heart of an empire. And there were countless more. Uxmal, with its Pyramid of the Magician, rising in graceful curves. Koba, with its vast road network stretching deep into the jungle. Quirigua, with towering stone monuments. Bonampak, with painted murals showing vivid scenes of warfare and ritual, their colors surviving for over 1,000 years. Each city added a new note to the Maya symphony of stone, and together they formed one of the most sophisticated civilizations of the ancient world. Recent discoveries have revealed even more. Using LiDAR, laser scanning technology, archaeologists can now see through the forest canopy. What they have found is astonishing. Entire hidden cities, markets, fortifications, and suburbs. Instead of scattered kingdoms, the Maya world was an immense urban network, more populated and advanced than scholars ever imagined. Estimates suggest millions lived across this civilization, their presence hidden for centuries by trees. The Maya did not build randomly. Their cities were maps of the cosmos, pyramids aligned with solstices. Temples faced the rising sun. Plazas were arranged to reflect celestial order. To live in a Maya city was to live in a mirror of the universe. Imagine walking through such a city 1,000 years ago, the air thick with incense, priests chanting as they climb temple stairs, merchants calling out in the market, the pounding of drums, the shouts of warriors, the laughter of children. Above it all, pyramids pointing skyward, connecting earth to heaven. The Maya called their cities places of stone and sky. And even today, as the forest grows over them, they remain monuments not only to power, but to vision. A vision that sought to connect human life with the eternal cosmos. Part 2. Masters of Numbers and Stars. The Maya were not only builders of stone, they were also masters of numbers, astronomers of the night sky, and philosophers of time. Their genius began with mathematics. While much of the ancient world struggled with simple counting, the Maya created a number system elegant in its simplicity and profound in its power. Dots represented ones, bars represented fives. With only these two symbols, they could write any number. But the true revolution was their understanding of zero. Zero seems ordinary to us today, but 1,000 years ago, it was almost unknown. To the Maya, zero was not just a placeholder. It was a concept of nothingness, of cycles restarting. This idea gave them the ability to calculate immense spans of time, to measure the heavens with astonishing precision, and to design calendars that still amaze scholars today. The heavens guided everything: the sun, the moon, and especially the planet Venus. The Maya saw Venus as a warrior star. Its rising and setting determined when kings declared war, when rulers performed sacrifices, when cities marked their rituals. At Chichén Itzá, the Caracol Observatory is aligned with Venus's movements. Its circular windows frame the sky, and from here priests track the planet's journey across the horizon. They charted eclipses, predicting moments when the sun would vanish. They followed lunar cycles, calculating the months of the moon with astonishing accuracy. The Dresden Codex, one of the 4 surviving Maya books, contains tables of eclipses and Venus cycles so precise that modern astronomers still marvel at their accuracy. The most misunderstood aspect of Maya astronomy came in the year 2012. The long count calendar reached the end of a great cycle, and modern myths claimed the Maya predicted the end of the world. In truth, the Maya never spoke of apocalypse. To them, the close of one cycle simply meant the beginning of another. It was renewal, not destruction. The wheel of time had turned, as it always had, as it always would. Imagine standing in a Maya city 1,000 years ago, at night. The jungle is alive with sounds, but above you the stars shine with breathtaking clarity. Priests raise torches, marking constellations with gestures. They read the heavens, not as distant lights, but as living guides. Venus rises, blazing like fire. Drums beat. The people believe the gods have spoken, and kings prepare their armies to march. To the Maya, time was not linear. It was a circle. Days, years, centuries, all repeated in cycles. The universe itself was alive with rhythm. Humans were not separate from this rhythm, but participants in it. Every sunrise, every eclipse, every cycle of Venus tied their lives to the eternal dance of the cosmos. In their numbers, in their stars, in their calendars, the Maya sought not just knowledge, but meaning. And in that search, they left behind a legacy of mathematics and astronomy that still astonishes us today. Part 3. Myths, Glyphs, and Hidden Knowledge. The Maya did not separate science from story. For them, numbers and myths, astronomy and gods, were threads of the same fabric. To understand their knowledge, you must also understand their legends. At the heart of Maya mythology is the Popol Vuh, the sacred book of the Quiché Maya. It tells the story of the hero twins, Hunahpu and Ixbalanque. These brothers were summoned to Xibalba, the underworld, ruled by the lords of death. There they faced trials in houses of terror. The house of darkness, where they could not see. The house of bats, where deadly creatures attacked. The house of fire, where flames surrounded them. They were tricked, defeated, even killed. Yet through sacrifice and rebirth, they triumphed. In the end, they became the sun and the moon, bringing balance to the world. This myth was not a simple story. It explained the eternal cycles of life and death, night and day. It gave meaning to the ballgame courts found in every city, where the sacred game reenacted the battles of gods and men. For the Maya, myth was living truth, played out in ritual, art, and architecture. The Maya preserved their knowledge in glyphs. These were not mere letters, but symbols combining art, language, and mathematics. A single glyph could represent a word, a sound, or a complex idea. Painted on bark paper codices or carved into stone stelae, they formed a record of history, science, and prophecy. The stone, however, could not be destroyed so easily. Across the Maya world, inscriptions remained. Modern scholars have spent decades deciphering them, slowly bringing back voices long silenced. Today we can read names of rulers, dates of eclipses, even poetry and prayers. The Maya are no longer a mystery of mute ruins. They are a civilization speaking to us once again. One of the most intriguing puzzles lies in Palenque, in the tomb of King Tikal. His sarcophagus lid is carved with elaborate cosmic imagery. Scholars say it shows Tikal descending the world tree into the underworld, beginning his journey after death. Others see him rising into the heavens, surrounded by celestial symbols. But to some, the carving looks like something else entirely. A man seated at controls as if piloting a craft into the stars. Was this image a metaphor? A mythic vision? Or something beyond our understanding? The truth may never be certain, but the fact that such questions arise shows the depth of Maya symbolism. Their art invites us to wonder, to interpret, to search for meaning. For the Maya, knowledge was never just practical, it was sacred. To write was to connect with gods. To tell myths was to explain the cosmos. To carve stone was to preserve truth for eternity. Their glyphs, their codices, their myths, these were their libraries, their universities, their temples of knowledge. Even after centuries of conquest and loss, their words remain, carved in stone, painted on paper, whispered in stories still told by their descendants. The Maya did not only build in stone, they built in story, and those stories still endure. By the 9th century, many of the great Maya cities had fallen silent. Temples that once rang with chants and drums stood empty. Markets that once overflowed with cacao and jade lay deserted. The jungle crept back, winding its roots around stairways and covering plazas with silence. Why did this happen? Why would a civilization that mastered the stars and built cities of stone abandon its greatest centers? One explanation is climate. Scientific studies of lake sediments and cave stalagmites reveal centuries of drought between the 8th and 10th centuries. Rain became scarce, crops failed, and famine spread. Cities that relied on reservoirs and canals faced collapse when the skies refused to provide water. Without food, people left their homes, and once great centers emptied. Another explanation is warfare. The Maya world was not a single empire, but dozens of rival kingdoms. Cities like Tikal and Chichén fought for dominance in a struggle that lasted generations. Murals, carvings, and inscriptions describe kings capturing rivals. Sacrifices made to the gods, and endless conflict. War consumed resources, weakened alliances, and made survival more difficult. There is also the theory of overpopulation and environmental stress. To feed growing numbers, the Maya cleared forests for farmland. Over time, the soil eroded and fertility declined. Deforestation worsened drought. Farmland could no longer support cities as large as Tikal or Chichén. Starvation followed, pushing people to abandon urban centers for smaller, more sustainable communities. Political collapse may also have played a role. When rulers failed to provide stability, the people may have lost faith. Monumental construction, temples, pyramids, palaces, slowed and then stopped. This suggests that the authority of kings was breaking down. Some cities may have faced internal rebellions, with subjects abandoning leaders who demanded too much labor for monuments and wars. The truth is likely not one cause, but many. A perfect storm: drought, war, environmental stress, political collapse, and perhaps disease converged to weaken the great cities until they could no longer survive. Their story is not only about what was lost, it is also about what survived. The spirit of the Maya endures, even after the silence of their ancient cities. The Maya left behind more than ruins. They left mysteries that still challenge us, and wisdom that continues to inspire. They built cities aligned with the heavens, pyramids that captured the movements of the sun, and calendars that measured cosmic ages. They told stories of gods and heroes that explained the balance between life and death. They recorded their histories in glyphs carved in stone and painted on pages of bark paper. Even after centuries of conquest, destruction, and silence, their voices still speak. To walk among the ruins of Tikal or Chichén Itzá today is to feel the presence of something greater than stone. The steps are worn, but they still climb toward the sky. The glyphs are faded, but they still whisper stories. The jungle may have reclaimed the plazas, but the spirit of the Maya cannot be buried. Their story is not just one of collapse, but of endurance. They remind us that civilizations are fragile, yet cultures endure. That knowledge may be hidden, but it is never truly lost. That time does not end, but turns in cycles. The cities may sleep beneath the forest, but the people live on. The temples may crumble, but the wisdom still inspires. And as we look to the stars above the jungle, we we see the same heavens the Maya once measured, eternal, unbroken, alive with meaning. The spirit of the Maya endures,